In this video, I will show the patterns of the present subjunctive. When to use the subjunctive may be a convoluted issue, but its conjugation is quite straightforward, at least in speech, as there are only 3 sounds with which to concern ourselves. Before continuing, I'd like to highlight the extra consonant sound that can be heard in the they form of some verbs in the present tense. The verb rendre is one such verb. We can say il rend for he returns and ils rendent for they return. Regardless of the spelling, you can hear a difference between il rend and ils rendent. Notice the silent ENT again. Some verbs have no difference in the sound between the he-she form and the they form. This is irrelevant as we can use the same pattern regardless, which is to use the sound used by the they form to make the present subjunctive. Here's what I mean. The verb venir has an extra consonant sound in the they form, even though its spelling is quite long. It's like an extra consonant has been appended to the he-she form. Il finit means he finishes, and il finisse has an extra S sound. The sound of finisse can be used for almost every form. We have je finisse, tu finisses, il, elle, on finissent, and the they form, il or elle finissent. Note the final S of the familiar tu form. As you can see, you think of the they form and you get most of the present subjunctive. The nous and vous forms are the same as the imperfect tense. Nous finissions and vous finissiez. This may be a little confusing that those sound like a past tense as opposed to the present or future, but hopefully in context you will work out what the speaker means. Another pattern is that most verbs use the letter I in the nous and vous forms, or at least they sound like they do. We shall perform the same trick with prendre. The they form is ils prennent, which means they take. I use this sound to make most of the forms again. Je prenne, tu prennes, il, elle, on prennent, and il or elle prennent. Again, I use the imperfect tense to get the nous and vous forms, which are nous prenions and vous preniez. Prendre is unusual in that it doesn't use the prenne sound in the nous and vous forms, but it still uses the pattern of taking the sound from the imperfect tense. The last one to show you is parler. Il parle sounds like he speaks or they speak, but that is irrelevant as we still use the sound of parle. Je parle, tu parles, il, elle, on parle, and the they form, il or elle parle. I use the imperfect tense again for nous parlions and vous parliez. So, in speech at least, the present subjunctive is fairly easy to make. It works with the majority of verbs, but there are some very common ones which may not use the they form or the imperfect tense forms or neither of them. I shall be examining the verbs avoir and être in the next video. So, a few examples. As you may know, there are a number of verbs that trigger the use of the subjunctive. Most of them seem to imply an element of doubt. Vouloir, which means to want, is one of those verbs. If I wanted someone else to do something, there is a doubt that he or she can do a certain task. Now, if there is one subject, I can say a simple sentence like Je veux voir tes photos. I want to see your photos. If I said I want him to see your photos, then I have changed the subject and I need to use the subjunctive with this particular verb. I need the present subjunctive of voir, which means to see. I already know that il voit means they see, so I can use the sound of voir and say Je veux qu'il voie tes photos. That just so happens to sound the same as the normal present tense, but there is a spelling change. There are some conjunctions too that trigger the use of the subjunctive. I can use the unchanged verb called the infinitive with sans. Je n'irai pas sans être invité. I won't go without being invited. If I change the subject of the sentence, then I have to use sans que and say il est entré sans que je l'entende. He came in without my hearing him. Entendre is another one of those verbs with a consonant sound at the end in the present tense. Il entend, ils entendent. Well, I think that's enough information for one video. I hope that I have helped you remember these type of conjugations, and thank you for watching.